Alright, so I'll start going around, and I want to kind of trace around this nostril bump here so we can see the detail of that. So I'll place vertices in the corners of that, almost kind of drawing another loop. Okay, and I want a nice bulge right on the end here, so I want to kind of design my faces around that. So I'll just draw a little circle here. I'm not too pleased with that. It's kind of got an edge loop going around just the outside of the nose, and then it comes across. So I think I'll try this one again. Okay, so now I've just got one section here. On my nostril it's on the bump here, and on theirs it's kind of tucked into the corner, and they can have nicer edge loops going around. So I think I'll slide Alrighty, there we go. It takes a little while to figure out how to arrange them nicely, but got there. I'm not loving too much how dense it is around the upper forehead up here, but I mean, we're gonna bring all these faces over into each other anyway. And I think I'll turn off merge for symmetry, and then I'll fill in those center faces. Okay, so pressing and holding W, dragging up to symmetry, selecting our model, going back to quad draw, and now I can just fill in the center here. Oh, great. Can't relax with symmetry. Just gonna relax the center here. And then before I relax the outsides, I'm gonna turn symmetry back on. And smooth out the rest of it. So this star right here, this is the point where, on this model, it's around their cheekbone. This is where you'll kind of need to join the edge loops together, the eye and the mouth. So you'll need one of these stars right here, but try and push it further up the cheek so that you can afford more edge loops around the mouth. And it looks like there's another one down here for the frown wrinkle. So we'll start to kind of pull vertices along the jaw here, and eventually we'll join together and create one of those. Alright, so I've made another one right here on the outer cheek, so I can connect to here now. And I'm going to try and reduce some of these so I can match my geo better. As I'm going, I'm just kind of deleting some of these edge loops that add extra detail, which we do want, but it requires me to draw more faces to make the loop work, so I'd rather just make larger faces and then add the edge loops in after the fact. So I've been working in the quad draw tool for a while now, and my computer's starting to get a little choppier. So what I'm going to do is go out of my quad draw tool, select my object, and it's got all this history on it from all of these. Yeah, look at all this history from all of the tweaks we've been making to it. So that's what's causing it to slow down. And since I'm happy with all the changes I've made, I can go to Edit, Delete by Type, History, and that'll forget all of its past, and now it should run a lot smoother. And since the back of the head's covered up by the hair, we really don't need much detail here, so our faces can be a lot more spaced out. Alright, so there's a certain point on the forehead where you'll want to reduce the number of faces you have compared to the head back here. So here's the technique we're going to use. We're going to try and loop these faces into each other so that we don't have to have as many. So we'll cut out some of these faces. So we'll bring these faces together. And these will form a loop. Let me turn symmetry off so I can draw this face. And we can even do this again. Okay, so I've got too many faces on this side to connect down here, so I'm going to do another one of these looping together techniques to reduce that number of faces here. Is this remote again? Alright, so I've cleaned up the head topology a good amount, and I've deleted these faces on the inside, because it's not working very well with symmetry and the quad draw tool. So now that I'm done here, I'll go out into object mode. And it's running a little slow, so I'm going to delete my history again. And the way I'm going to bring these together is just by, well, first I'll isolate my selection. I'm just going to select, what I want to do is actually just mirror this across, because I think there might have been some changes that weren't mirrored across. So I'm going to delete, well, first I need to turn off symmetry, but I'll delete 1/2 of all the faces, and then I'll grab the edge on the outside here. I just want these edges on the left side. I don't want these edges on the bottom or in the mouth, so I'm going to control, drag, select to deselect those edges so that I only have the edges on the left selected. Okay, so let's go into our front view. I'm hitting spacebar and F to get there. So let me go back to object mode and isolate this in this view. So with that edge selected, I want to flatten it out, so I'll scale and I'll bring it in so that it's all scaled together, and then I'll slide it over. But here's the thing, we still got live mode on, so it's actually getting kind of messed up. So let me turn live mode off. I'll turn off this magnet, and now I'll scale my edge to flatten it out, and then I'll bring it over to the center of the grid, and I'll hold X to snap to the grid. So now we've got a perfectly flat edge centered. Now when we mirror it, it'll mirror perfectly. So we'll hold Shift and right mouse button and drag down to mirror. It'll mirror across. I want to mirror across the Z axis. Your axis might be different. I want to do it in the positive direction. There we go. And you want to merge your border so that all these vertices merge together. But your merge threshold, you want to bring that all the way down to 0.001. Sweet. So we've got a nice retopologized head. I might do one more pass at relaxing. Let me turn live mode back on. Soft selection mode on, and symmetry on. And let's do a little bit more relaxing. The thing is, it looks like you can't really relax that center edge, otherwise the vertices kind of get compressed together. So just watch out for that. So I want to extend this a bit into the head so that we can have things like the lips able to move around and the eyelids able to close and move around. So I'll grab all of these edge loops, the nose, the mouth, and the eyes, and I'll extrude them with Control E, and I'll just drag them straight back. But I'm on live mode still, so let me turn off live mode, and I'll drag them straight back. Now when we place the eyes in there, we won't have, let me actually hide this head now. And now we'll see that edge just goes into the eye and we don't see any holes in our mesh. And we'll work more on the mouth. So the mouth, we want to go into X-ray mode here. And I actually want to loop this around because we're going to create the interior of the mouth here. So I'll scale it up, extrude it back further. And then start to close that. And I'll just drag the end faces down to start to create the throat. This is as far as we'll get it for now. It's looking really good. Next we'll do the body.